forest has always been a place of contradiction. To some, it's peace, sunlight through leaves, the scent of pine, the rustle of deer in the underbrush. But for others, it's a place where compasses spin, voices vanish, and things unseen breathe just behind the bark. Throughout human history, we've told stories about the woods. In Europe, forests were homes to witches and wolves. In Africa, trees were inhabited by spirits. In Asia, the woods were both sacred and cursed. And in North America, tales of ancient creatures whispered around fires were more than bedtime stories. They were warnings. Forests have no eyes, but somehow they watch. Every path feels walked before. Every silence feels like a held breath. People go into the woods to find themselves, but some never come back. Tonight we step between the trees, from the icy grip of northern legends to a Romanian forest twisted by time and science, to the dense silence beneath Mount Fuji. These are places where the natural world gives way to something else. This is Rudy's horror, and these are the legends of the forest. In the deep woods of the Great Lakes region and Canada, where winters bite hard and food can vanish with the sun, there is a legend that feeds on fear: the Wendigo. In Algonquian lore, especially among the Ojibwe, Cree, and Innu, the Wendigo is a malevolent, cannibalistic spirit. It is born when a human, in desperation, consumes the flesh of another. That act opens a door, and the Wendigo walks in. But it doesn't just possess, it transforms. Victims become gaunt, elongated, with skin stretched too thin over brittle bones. The mouth is always open, the eyes sunken and dead. And yet, the hunger grows. The Wendigo is never full. Some stories say it grows with every meal, towering above trees, still starving. Communities once held rituals to guard against it. If someone began dreaming of raw flesh, acting strange, isolating, elders might accuse them of Wendigo psychosis. In 1878, Cree trapper Swift Runner murdered and ate his family. He had food, he had shelter, but he claimed he was overcome, possessed. He was hanged, but many believed he was telling the truth. It wasn't the act of hunger, it was the spirit behind it. In modern times, stories shift. Campers speak of hearing their own names whispered just outside their tents. Hunters follow tracks in the snow, barefoot in sub-zero cold. Hikers vanish, only to be found days later, wide-eyed and silent, refusing to speak of what they saw. They say the Wendigo mimics voices. It draws you off the trail. It waits for you to be alone. And once it tastes you, even once, you are never really yourself again. It's not just a monster. It's a warning, a consequence, the price of hunger and isolation. And in the cold woods, it's always hungry. In the heart of Transylvania, Romania, just beyond the bustling city of Cluj-Napoca, lies one of the strangest places in Europe, a forest called Hoia Baciu. At only 3 square kilometers, it seems unassuming. But inside, the trees twist in spirals, electronics fail, and shadows don't always follow the light. Its legend began in the 1960s, when a shepherd disappeared inside with a flock of 200 sheep. None were ever found. But what made the forest infamous was a photo taken in 1968 by military technician Emil Barnea. It showed a silver disc hovering above the treetops. It was published in newspapers, scrutinized, and never explained. Since then, researchers and thrill seekers have flooded the area. They describe sudden dizziness, nausea, burns, and time loss. EMF meters spike. Cameras die. The clearing in the middle, a perfect circle where nothing grows, has been tested dozens of times. No toxins, no radiation, no reason. Locals avoid it. Paranormal investigators are drawn to it. Some say the forest is sentient, alive, and very selective. There are stories of people stepping between two trees and vanishing for hours, only to reappear with torn clothing and no memory. Others report lights dancing through the woods at night, too slow to be fireflies, too fast to be drones. In 2013, a paranormal team set up motion sensors throughout the forest. 3 cameras recorded what appeared to be shadowy humanoid figures moving through the fog just at the edge of focus. No animals, no wind. Even skeptics feel it. That hum, that pressure. As if the forest is holding its breath, waiting for you to take one step too far. Is it a dimensional rift, a magnetically sensitive anomaly, or something ancient guarding its own? Hoia Baciu doesn't answer questions. It just watches. Aokigahara. The name means sea of trees, but to many, it means something darker. Tucked at the foot of Mount Fuji, this forest is stunning. Thick green undergrowth, moss-covered rocks, lava tubes winding underground. But Aokigahara is better known by another name, the Suicide Forest. Dozens enter each year. Some leave notes, some don't. Officials sweep the forest regularly, collecting the belongings of those who went in seeking silence and found it. What makes Aokigahara so unsettling isn't just its reputation, it's the sound, or lack of it. Wildlife is sparse. The forest floor absorbs footsteps. The trees mute your voice. Even wind struggles to move through the tightly packed branches. Ancient Japanese legend speaks of ubasut, the abandonment of the elderly in forests during famine. Some say Aokigahara was one such place, and the spirits left behind are yurei, angry, sorrowful ghosts that linger, looking for warmth or revenge. Hikers tell of seeing white figures drifting behind trunks, or hearing footsteps when they are still. Some say the forest leads you astray. Paths loop, signs disappear. GPS fails. Even rescue crews have gotten lost. In 2010, a tent was discovered deep in the forest. Inside, clothes folded, cans unopened, a journal half-written. But no one was ever found. Authorities now place signs urging people to think of their loved ones. Volunteers hang ribbons to guide lost hikers, but nothing shakes the feeling that if you step off the path in Aokigahara, something is already waiting. Forests are more than trees. They are memories made of roots and stone. They remember the old gods, the old crimes, the old fears. Tonight we walked with a hunger that feeds on isolation, through a forest that bends space and time, and among spirits that linger in the silence. But we're not done yet, because next week we leave the shadows of the forest and enter the shadows of the mind, a place where monsters wear human skin, where horror lives not in branches, but in bedrooms, in neighbors, in names carved into court records. So lock your doors, watch the woods, and never ignore the voice that says, "Don't go in there."